Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of our program Languages of the World. Here we are once again for another episode of English, and on this episode we're gonna do something different. Each time we come to you, we raise some topic and discuss it, but today we're gonna talk about grammar. We're gonna discuss some important grammar lesson. I'll tell you about it, but let me first welcome my guest, Ms. Heba. Hello Ms. Heba and welcome to the program.
Hi,
How's
Yasser.
everything?
Great.
Are you alright? Doing fine?
I'm fine with grammar.
Yeah, great. Yeah. All right, grammar is something that a lot of people find difficult, and they don't like it.
They don't like it. They have a hardship while understanding it. Though I don't know why, because I love grammar and for me it's very easy.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, yes, it is kind of complicated.
Yeah, but it's important to follow rules.
Yeah, it's very important because without following the rule, you could be misunderstood. You could make a lot of mistakes that cause misconception
And also get the wrong messages.
Exactly. This being misunderstood makes you get the wrong message or give the wrong message. So it's very important.
And people who stick to grammar, who speak well, it shows also part of their personality.
Yeah, of course, it makes them look more formal, more elegant, responsible. But let us say a fact that nowadays in America, if you watch a movie, in American movie, you find that they are kind of giving up most of the grammar rules.
But I guess it's classy to be able to speak well.
Of course. So watch the good movies, you will find them talking in good grammar.
Yeah.
Not
all right.
perfect.
So we're going to talk about the present perfect.
Yeah. Actually, this tense is considered for a lot of my students like the hell of a tense, like the worst tense, because it is actually a tense in the past, but it is called present.
Yeah.
So this
they
causes,
get tense when the
it causes a lot of confusion because you don't know, is it in past or is it in present or what is your nature?
But I want to tell you something. In so many occasions, we can use the past symbol instead of the present perfect, especially in the U.S.
In the U.S., they use a lot of things instead of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And they kind of confuse
if you,
both
for
of
example, you have to say, I have just done something. In American English, you could just say, I just did it.
I just finished it also. And you use just, by the way, with the past tense.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, away from the American grammar, let us stick to the standard grammar.
It's also used in American English.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And they can say she do and he do.
No, this is bad.
I've heard it in the lyrics, believe me, I've heard this.
Yeah.
And I was like shocked. Huh? Okay.
But I want to tell you something. I learned that when it comes to poetry or songs, sometimes you don't need to follow the rules just to make what you're saying more poetic, more musical.
In poetry, yes, it is called the poet license.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because sometimes your rhyme or music needs you to go away from the grammatical rules.
Just even in newspapers, for example, you don't have to stick to grammar because in headlines, for example, you need to give short phrases to tell the message without sticking too much to the articles and the verbs.
No, the headlines are kind of giving just nouns or adjectives.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we are here educational program, so we will teach.
Are we?
I think so. So we will just stick to the standard of the grammar. So the present perfect. Why it is in the past? First, I want to explain this because a lot of people need to know it. Why it is in the past, an action happened in the past, why they call it the present. For many reasons. Actually, the first reason is that it is really an action that happened in the past, but still has kind of effects in the present time.
Yeah.
Like for example, if I offer you something to eat now, and you had your breakfast earlier at home, you will say,
I've had breakfast.
Yeah, I've had breakfast, or I have already eaten, or I have already had my breakfast. So it happened in the past that you had your breakfast, but it are still full. I can't offer you more food. So the effect
it has
of the
a result or an effect in the present.
Exactly. If, for example, la qadar Allah, someone has a broken arm, and I ask him what happened, so he will say, I have broken my arm.
Yeah.
He will not say that I broke my arm. No, I broke means he has broken his arm and that's it, and he is healed and everything is okay. But I have broken my arm means that I'm still have broken arm. It isn't healed yet. Okay, so this
perhaps it is still in bandage.
It is in a cast. So that's what we mean by that. It is an action that happened in the past.
And if I tell you something like, for example, I've seen this movie.
I've seen this movie. Yes, because this is a second usage of the perfect, present perfect. It talks about your experience.
It shows you that I already know the story of that movie. I now know the story of that movie.
We can also say it in another way. I have seen this movie before.
Yeah.
This means a past experience. When we talk.
But it has a present
effect, of course, that you have an idea about it. Also, if I say I have eaten sushi before, I know its taste, I know its price, I know where is it served. So I have a past experience that still affects my knowledge in the present.
Yeah.
It's another usage of the present perfect. Another one which we always teach to students at school to make these things easier for them. When we say that whenever I have an action in the past with no specific time in the past, this must be in the present perfect. Like, for example, if I say, I finished my homework. It's wrong. If I say, I finished my homework without saying when, this would be wrong.
Let's not say it's wrong. Let's say it's more precise to say something else.
And grammatically speaking, it will be wrong, because if I use the past simple, I finished, I have to specify when. I finished my homework 2 hours ago, yesterday. I have to specify a time. So if I say, I finished my homework, and that's it without any specific time, it should be, preferably, to say, I have finished my homework. I have finished my homework. This is grammatically speaking. So let us see the presentation I prepared for you about the present perfect. If you have any question,
we were just talking about American English. I told you, if I say I finished something, I did something, you know, it's quite acceptable.
We are kind of national program. We can take the American and the British also. So both of them we are dealing with.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about the grammar that
we can say something here. We can say something here. For example, we can say, well, I finished my homework 2 hours ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't say I have finished my homework 2 hours ago.
Never.
I can never use a time reference with the present perfect.
Exactly, exactly. We have other keywords which we are going to tackle.
So let's say this. When we use a present perfect, we should not say when something happened. All right. So we can say before, but not, you know.
In two cases, with the present perfect, we specify when.
We're using since and for. Since and for only.
Yes, exactly. We are going to say about this now. So, we use the present perfect tense to talk about things that happened at some time in the past and have connection to the present. That's what we have said. He has lived in Chaten for 20 years, or she has taken art lesson for 2 months. This means that he is still living in Chaten and she is still having her lessons. So it is kind of continuing. I have drunk 5 glasses of water since lunch. This means that I'm full, I can't drink anymore.
Yeah, and it says that you started something in the past and it continues up to the present.
Yeah, up to the present, or its effect is continuing up to the present. The present perfect form of the verb is made of 2 parts. We use have or has plus the past participle. For example, I takes have, you have, we have, and they have. While he has, she has, and it has. And we get the past participle of the verb, and I think all of our students, the good ones, they know what is the past participle. For example, if I say eat, ate, what the past participle?
Eaten.
Eaten, exactly.
So it's the third past, as they call it.
Conjugation. The third part of conjugation. If the verb is regular, like finish, for example, its past and past participle are the same using ed. Doing the negative is very easy because we just put not after have or has. For example, I have not or I haven't finished. You haven't finished. So we just put not between has or have and the past participle of the verb. It's not a big deal. For the questions, it's also easy. I just switch have or has with the subject.
We inverse them.
Yeah. I have finished. Have I finished? You call it switch, you call it shift, you call it inverse. Yes, inverse is more academic. So, you have finished becomes have you finished? She has finished. Has she finished? And of course, this is yes.
And we, talking about pronunciation, we can say has she. Has she,
yes.
not has she.
You drop the S, yes.
Has she.
Has she.
Yeah.
The Americans. Okay, you drop yes.
It's not you drop it. You link the sounds,
yeah.
you know, because you're not you're not talking word for word. You're not speaking word for word. Yeah.
Connected speech.
Yeah.
This is we call connected speech when you are talking in a conversation.
Yeah.
You don't articulate.
Has she finished? Has she finished?
Yeah, you don't say every word articulated like this. Okay, these are the key words. But we often use the following words with the present perfect tense. Of course, there are more, but these are the most popular already. For example, I can say, I have already eaten. I have already eaten. Ever comes in a question form. When I ask you, for example, have you ever been to America?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I've never been there.
I've never been there.
And see how I said? I've never been there. I've never been there.
So,
all right. So, by the way, the word ever, because a lot of people ask what it means. It means at any time. So, have you at any time in the past been to? Which means have you visited? Yeah.
Another yes, it is about the experience, about kind of your past experience.
Yeah.
Have you been or have
and
you
when you
ever
say
visited?
something, when you say I've been to a place,
yeah,
it means I'm back now.
Yes. And if you say I've gone, means I'm still there.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that confuses students because they get them in their books. For when you use for, you use a period of time after it. For example, if I say I have worked here for 3 years, for example.
Yeah.
I've worked here at this company. I have worked for 3 years. So I specified a period of time. A period of time. Quantity.
Like continues up to the present.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I guess on our next episode or on an upcoming episode, we should also discuss the present perfect continuous or progressive, because sometimes
it is confusing.
It is confusing. Sometimes you mix both tenses up, and sometimes you can use both to give the same meaning. Like here, for example, you can say I have worked here for, or I've been working here for.
Yeah.
When it comes to working and living, you can use both tenses. I've lived here since, or I've been living here since.
Yeah, so. Exactly. They have a slight differences in meaning, but we will handle this when we come to the
I hope you prepare it on an upcoming episode.
Just is the same as already. I've just eaten, I've just finished. Okay, it means from so recently. Since is one of the words that has a time after it. One of those words that specify times. For example, if I say, I've worked here since 1999, for example, or 2000 something. So I specify the time, point of time, not a period, like for, but a point of time, a certain point of time. For example, I haven't seen him since his last birthday. So this is a point in time. We come to yet. And yet is nice because yet is only used in the negative and question form. We can't say I have finished yet. No, we can say this. It should be in the question form or in the negative form. I haven't finished yet.
Yeah.
Or have you finished yet? So it is only in the question
or
negative.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so as we have said, which word is followed by a certain time in the past? Since and for. We have been to the airport 5 times since July, or I haven't seen Helen since last summer. Also, we have for. I have been a member of the drama club for 3 years, or she hasn't written to me for a year, a period of time. Then, Yet, as we said, it is in the question form or the negative form. Have you done your math homework yet? Or, my parents haven't signed my report card yet. So, negative and question. It usually comes at the end of the question or the negative statement. We don't start the sentence with yet. Also, we have ever, as we said, have you ever traveled on a motorbike? This is about your past experience. And we put it between the subject and the main verb as a kind of question. If the answer is negative, we can use has or have plus never plus past participle, as you have said. Maybe you don't say I haven't, or you say I have never. So we can answer the negative, or we can make the negative not just with not, but with never also.
Or I have never, ever.
Ever, ever. This is to emphasize that it is never happened. We often use the following, like we said, which word shows that an action was completed a short time ago. You just mean that the action was completed short time ago. Also, we can use, besides already and just, we can use recently or lately. So these give the same meaning also. As we said, already. So, any questions in the present perfect so far?
Well, I guess everything is perfect so far.
Yes, it's perfect so far. So, we come here to, I want to emphasize the differences now between the past simple and the present perfect again.
Yeah,
So.
Let me tell you here and see if what I'm saying is true or not. Usually when you use the past simple or the simple past, it means that something happened in the past and is over now.
Yes,
it has nothing related to the present, while using the present perfect means something continues from a point in the past up to the present.
And that's the reason they have called it present perfect.
However, let me say this again. In American English, you could use the past simple when it's normal in British English to use the present perfect.
Yes, that's right. And if we want to give a hint about the usage of the present perfect continuous, maybe we can, till the next episode, we can say that, for example, if I say, I have worked here for 3 years, or I have been working here for 3 years, there's a slight difference. For example, if I say I have worked here for 3 years, so maybe, or maybe
little
not,
chance
that I have finished, or I don't work anymore.
I'm not gonna work anymore.
But if I say I have been working here for 3 years, definitely I'm still working.
Yeah, but however, they could both mean the same thing.
They could. Sometimes they have these slight differences. If we talk about the past perfect, and it is so related to the present perfect, it is just had, and we use it with the past simple connected together. We can't use the past perfect without using the past simple with it, because simply the past perfect explains that an action happened before the other.
Yeah, but it's very important, you know, to use this form have been to. When you have been to a place, for example.
Yes, of course, it is very popular to use it, and by this we mean that we have been there and we are.
Have you ever, for example, been to wherever? Have you ever been to South America?
Yeah, for example.
Something like this. All right. Have you ever been to a place, not necessarily a country? Have you ever been to the theater, for example?
And by the way, one of the words we didn't mention here, which is a key word of the present perfect, is the word before.
Before.
Yeah. So answering your question, I can say I have been.
Well, I don't believe in keywords.
I don't believe, but actually schools believe, curriculums believe, students believe. So we use it as a kind of telling you about the experience. For example, I have been to South America before, for example.
So. Yeah, so it's very important to know how to use the right tense, of course. And as I said, yeah, we can sometimes use different tenses to give the same meaning. But again, you know, you have to learn these basic grammar rules by heart so that when you communicate with other people, you find it easy to do that. You get your message across, and you also understand what the people mean exactly without any confusion. Because, you know, sometimes misunderstandings happen, and sometimes they cause, you know, like, I don't know, disagreements,
of course,
you know.
Of course, and especially when you grow up and write, for example, an email, if you want to apply for a job or write a formal email, and if you have mistakes in grammar, this gives a very bad impression about you.
Yeah, because it shows your style, you know, as a person. Usually when you write something to somebody, this person perhaps he has never seen you, but he can
tell about you.
Yeah, tell about you through your writing, the way you write, your style. They can read your mind. So you give a lot of information, or let's say impressions about yourself when it comes to writing something.
Yes, that's why they teach how to write an email for students. Also, if you are doing a presentation.
Yeah, it's the same as when you speak, of course.
We are taking grammar not to be silly or boring, but actually when our students go to the university or go to the field, the work field, they will have to give a lot of presentations, and mostly now they are in English.
Yeah, public speaking, you know, is very important for a lot of people. Sometimes some jobs depend on public speaking, and when you present yourself to the audience, you know, you have to give a good impression about yourself. You have to make a good impression, and this comes by many things: the way you look, the way you speak, for example, the way you use your words, and grammar also is important.
Body language and
vocabulary, by the way. I want to tell you something, that there are so many books in Britain, in the UK, in the US as well, you know, to reinforce vocabulary, to teach the native speakers, or to give them more vocabulary, to learn how to use these words, you know, in public speaking, or when they have to say something like to give a speech or something, because this is very important, because by the way, also having a wide range of vocabulary gives you the ability to give more ideas and explain yourself better.
And also, you know that the vocabulary have slight differences between the words. For example, the word worried and nervous. There are kind of degrees between the vocabulary. Yes, the vocabulary are so rich in English. And as you said, they are teaching this in the native countries, like Britain or USA. So what will happen here when you are having it as our second
perhaps,
language?
for example, if you notice how politicians talk, don't you think that there are fixed phrases always uttered by them?
Yeah, because they are not preparing their speeches. They have people who prepare this. And those people, it's their
sometimes
work.
they use like cliches.
Cliches, of course. And of course, cliches are not good if you are giving a presentation.
Yeah, sure, but I just want to say that sometimes it's important to, you know, whenever you talk about something, you need to learn more about the terminology used in this subject, for example.
Of course, the terms. Remind me, Yasser, we want to give our students or our audience how to give a good presentation. Because students now...
Oral or written?
Oral. Oral first, because the students now are required not just to memorize. A lot of people now in schools, and I have been asked this question, I want to give a presentation. How can I give a presentation? Students in schools. Now schools tend to be more digital, modernized, so they ask students to give presentations.
I guess a good command of English is necessary to give a good presentation.
And of course, your rehearsal. Your good command, your practice.
I like things to come out naturally, you know.
If you are talking about a specific subject, you have to prepare for it. If it is, for example, geography.
But not every single word.
Not every single word. Of course, the main points you have to focus on, the data or the information, then the rest you
like
can
for example,
improvise.
on this slide, I'm going to say something related to this. I'm going to say something about this, you know, or, you know, I'll give myself the freedom to say whatever I want at that time. You know, I don't have to prepare. I know what I'm gonna say about.
Yeah, you have to have enough information, and then you can improvise.
Just like we're doing here. You know,
exactly.
perhaps you've prepared something, and I haven't prepared anything actually, but I know what to say. I know I could discuss things and improvise. And when we use the word improvise, it means we discuss something without preparation or prior preparation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we will give our students kind of this presentation. So I want to remind them again, before we finish this episode, about the tenses. The tenses are very important, very, very important for your English. I know it is easy for you when your teacher tells you to write this in present, or in the present simple, or in the present continuous or progressive. So it is not hard for you because you know the keywords.
Yeah.
What is hard when we come to mix between the tenses or put it in the daily usage of life? So this is
and just one last thing I'd like to say here is that we talk only in English these days, actually, on a program. Actually, because I want to tell you something. There are so many programs on our channel, you know, teaching English and using Arabic and English and all that. So I guess watching us is different. I mean, you need to be at a kind of higher level, maybe. This is necessary so that you understand us, and this is also very important to see how, if you've reached a good level, to start using English only, or sometimes with little Arabic if necessary. I'd like to thank you very much, Ms. Heba, for being with us and for having this interesting
I have enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, me too. I've enjoyed it, and I hope everybody has enjoyed present perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope everybody has enjoyed this episode, and we'll be seeing you next week, inshallah. So until then, have a wonderful time. Bye bye.